Major moves are imminent for the Milwaukee Brewers as a recent report has detailed the return of Jackson Chourio. With a bit of concern from Brewers fans, Pat Murphy has assured us that things are going to be okay coming off this series against the Diamondbacks, where we had a very tough game today. We're going to be breaking that down, going over the return of Jackson Chourio, as well as the plan for this Brewers team heading into the series against the Blue Jays to finish this month off. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to break down here in today's video. Before we do jump into all of this news, like I said, a lot of moves coming. Be sure to hit the sub button if you haven't already. We still know that just over 98% of you guys watching right now have not hit that sub button. So if you're looking for your Brewers news, we get closer and closer to this postseason with a lot of moves being made. We're going to have it all right here for you guys, so you won't want to miss it. But let's jump straight into this one. I first want to touch on the game very quick because there's not much to touch on today about this. Was a very tough outing, and of course, going a 6-4 loss really was not bad on the offensive side of the ball. However, starting this game with Jose Quintana struggling definitely was not the most ideal way to start this game and really end this series heading into the Blue Jays. Now, Jose Quintana really couldn't get the control in their way in the second and third inning, which ultimately was the deciding factor of this game. And as you see going throughout the innings, the Brewers had that kind of momentum going. First, second, third. Then you get to the 2-3 run innings by the Diamondbacks, and ultimately that just kind of let us go down from there, and especially starting out with a bases-loaded walk or hit by pitch, then going into letting that run in, definitely not the greatest kind of way to start that game off. But on the positive side of the pitching, at least, we saw the rest of the bullpen pretty, well hold it in there, give the Brewers an opportunity, and ultimately couldn't get it done here in the later half of this game. But getting Myers in there, getting McGee in there, obviously, a little bit longer than what we normally see for our bullpen. You really can't complain about 3 hits each, a strikeout and 2 strikeouts apiece. The ERA on those guys definitely isn't the greatest, but it is really not horrible for Myers, especially here in this instance. But a good way to kind of finish this game off, even though it's against the Diamondbacks, who really are not the greatest team, but being able to do that, continue that game, really, let's just call it a hit an inning. You really can't complain about that and give the Brewers a chance to get back, which ultimately they couldn't. And when you're looking at the box score here today, of course, the hits were kind of passed around a bit. We saw a decent game from quite a few of the hitters, but ultimately wasn't enough to get it done. But this is going to be a big thing going forward now, especially when we get to this Blue Jays series, that we're going to be seeing a little bit of a different look right here, especially with the updates on Jackson Chourio coming back. Now, this is one thing I wanted to pull up, and obviously seeing what we're seeing with him, having him back is obviously the best result possible. A little bit longer than we would have liked. The end of July is when we missed him, so I pretty much missed the entire month of August just about. But this came out from Adam McCalvy earlier today. The plan is for Brewers center fielder Jackson Chourio to play the entire game Wednesday for AAA Nashville, which was yesterday, then join the big league club in Toronto. He's 1 for 15 with 7 strikeouts in the first 4 games on rehab with the Sounds. So, obviously not the greatest look there from Jackson Chourio, but Pat Murphy, the quote he had, which we're going to jump into here in a moment, really kind of puts us into perspective as to why this does not matter whatsoever. I wanted to pull that up as well, and kind of going over this, Milwaukee has been missing the younger outfielder Jackson Chourio since July 29th due to this hamstring injury, and he shared on Wednesday, that is Adam McCalvy, that the expectation is he will return against the Blue Jays. Now, they say on the weekend series, so whether or not that actually means starting tomorrow, Friday, the first game, or Saturday, the second game, is yet to be determined, but we will figure that out tomorrow morning, maybe even today, and I'll be keeping you guys updated with that, so be sure to hit the sub button, the bell notification as well, so you get your latest updates on the Brewers right here. But heading into this series, of course, Jackson Chourio is going to be a major part of this, whether or not, he's actually going to be in every game. Seeing the Blue Jays, the way they're playing as of late, still a pretty good team. This is a big series. Doesn't directly impact, us in the standings against the Blue Jays, but going into this and seeing how good the Cubs have been lately, we need to get these wins against some big teams, knowing that's the caliber of ball team that we're going to be playing here in the postseason. So, heading to this, now obviously Jackson Chourio is going to be a big part, but when you're looking at the stats and you see the MILB stats there, 15 at-bats, 1 hit, a 0.53 average. Definitely not what you want to see, but when you're looking at compared to his MLB stats, it's nothing alike. He's been thriving in the MLB, and that's something that I think he's going to jump right back into. And what Pat Murphy had to say, like I said, we're going to jump into that here in a moment. It makes a lot of sense where he's coming from, which we've never seen Jackson Chourio on the IL. He hasn't seen him on the IL. So the kind of the mindset coming in and out of this is certainly different. The compete level is not there while you're on the IL, but we know when he gets back, he's going to be super excited to be back and be around this club once again. But heading in to what Pat Murphy had to say on the topic, very good idea and kind of mindset behind the process of it. He says, to be honest, when you're on a rehab for the first time, you don't know what to expect. He's not in compete mode. It doesn't seem because he doesn't want to push it, because he doesn't want to get hurt again, because he's never been hurt. So I think we have a lot on that going on. He's not going to all of a sudden regress hitting. He has to see pitches. He will be fine. And Pat Murphy knows better than anybody about this kind of idea going into this with the amount of players we've seen on this Brewers team. How many people are on the IL right now? How many people are coming off the IL? Of course, Logan Henderson moved to the 60-day, seeing, an incredible amount of moves. McGill going on the IL. He has this, not just this season, but over his career as a manager as well, seen the sheer amount of players go on the IL, especially star talent like Jackson Chourio. So he knows the mindset going into it. He knows what's going to happen. And we know that Jackson Chourio, when he does come back, is going to be, as good as he was when he left. There's no doubt about that. So remember, take this, look at this, throw it away. That's it. That's all you can really go about this. We know he's going to be the player he was when he came back. But we do have one more update, kind of going over the Blue Jays side of things for this upcoming series. Now, they released this. Jose Barrios' start was pushed back to Tuesday against Cincinnati, so avoiding the Brewers completely. And Jose Barrios, who has not been the greatest pitcher as of late, would have been a good matchup for us. But now we're looking at Shane Bieber, Kevin Gausman, and Max Scherzer lined up to pitch the weekend at the Rogers Center from Friday through Sunday. So Shane Bieber tomorrow is going to be a second start with the Blue Jays, and he pitched a gem in his first game. So we're going to see Shane Bieber on a real test here against this Brewers team. As we've been kind of mentioning over the span of this channel, I guess, and this season, this Brewers team necessarily doesn't have the sheer amount of hitting talent that other teams do, but they have players that love to fight in at-bats. We see at-bats going double-digit pitches. We see this team really be able to attack the pitcher and attack the infielders, attack the outfielders, attack the team that you're going up against. I think this is going to be a serious matchup for this weekend, especially when you're going up against some guys who have some nasty stuff out there and really like to kind of not just get ground ball outs, but also are pretty good at strikeouts and got those, really key strikeout pitches, especially Gausman and Bieber. And, well, of course, Scherzer as well is Max Scherzer, so there's no overlooking that either. But there's going to be an interesting series that they pushed Jose Barrios back. We're going to see how this goes. And, of course, the Blue Jays still also hurt, still resting some people. We're going to see how that goes. So let me know what you think about all the updates that we have here in today's video. Like I said, we may have a video either tonight, depending on when we get our updates, or tomorrow morning before the game. We're going to be keeping you updated with everything that's going on, and we have a few changes coming tomorrow, especially Jackson Chourio, so be sure to stay up to date with all of that by hitting the sub button. But like I said, that's all I got in this video. If you did enjoy, give it a like, hit the sub button as well. I'm signing out, though. Thank you for watching. Hope you have a great day. See you later.